Yo, what is up, guys? It is your boy Zether back at it again to drop a Fairy Tail X Naruto What If video. In case some of my Fairy Tail fans are out here like, yes, let's go, Zancrow. Some of you guys may remember him, some of you guys may not, but in case you don't, this is the Fire God Slayer. His magic is incredible, and I decided, you know what? I would make a What If Naruto had his powers. So, yeah. That being said, though, guys, make sure to go get your snacks, go get comfy, tell a friend, share this video around, leave a like, as you know, every video I drop is always going to be a banger. But with that being said, though, guys, I don't want to keep you guys waiting for the what if, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so where our story is essentially going to start off is the day that Deku is born. See, Fire God Slayer magic can be learned through text, ancient text at that. That being said, Deku would basically, oh, I said Deku, but no, I'm sorry, I meant Naruto, but Naruto would essentially basically, yeah, I'm keeping that in, I'm not even going to edit that out, but yeah, Naruto would proceed to basically just be going through the forest and just be messing around, actually no, not through the forest, but through the village after he had basically just painted everything. He had basically just done his little mischievous act, and he's like 10 years old at this point. Right, so Naruto had just finished doing all of that stuff, and let's just say that Naruto at this point just basically proceeded to finish being, you know, little Naruto, I guess you could say, as he would proceed to basically just get beat up by some villagers for what he had done to their shops, and Naruto after the fact would basically get up with like a couple bruises on his head, just kind of like sobbing a little bit, just pretty upset at what just happened. Honestly, Naruto's life as a kid was just horrible. I don't even understand how he could even like the villagers after the stuff they did to him. That being said, though, Naruto would proceed to basically just keep doing his usual stuff, as Naruto would basically just go to a library one day, as, you know, the library keeper, or the woman that worked there basically told Naruto that he had 1 minute to get out of there, because if he didn't, she was going to kick him out by force. And some of the guys who were actually there, like some of the villagers, actually decided that they were going to back her up. And they were like, yeah, get out of here, you demon. As Naruto just ran out of there, as people were just throwing stuff at him. Now, Naruto was wondering why he wasn't allowed to go in there. And he would go to Hiruzen, as he'd basically ask him, you know, why he can't go to the library. As Hiruzen would say that, what if he... As Naruto would explain the situation, and Hiruzen would say understand, as he would go over there to the library person and tell her that Naruto is to not get messed with whatsoever in the library, and if anybody messes with him at all, they will be faced with the death penalty. As Naruto finally got one good thing out of being raised by Hiruzen, as Naruto would proceed to basically just you know, he'd proceed to essentially just go into the library the very next day and go start reading some books. He'd find a very ancient one in the back that kind of just looked like a little relic instead of an actual book to read, and he'd grab it off the shelf as he proceeds to ask the library woman if he can read this one. As she would say that that's just, as she would think about Lord Third, you know, his warning, and she would say, yeah, go for it, Naruto, just make sure you don't destroy it. As she would say that real in like an angry tone, seeing as you could tell that she didn't want to let Naruto read anything at all. As Naruto would say thanks, and he would then walk off to like the back of the library. Naruto would proceed to basically start reading the ancient text, as Naruto, for some reason, he could just understand it. Naruto just felt some sort of familiarity towards, you know, this text, and Naruto's eyes and looks would actually all be similar to that of Zancrow from, you know, well, Fairy Tail, the image that you guys see in the thumbnails. Apologies for that noise that just happened. Your boy accidentally dropped something. But anyways, that being said, though, Naruto would proceed to basically just go through and begin to pretty much just read the text. He would just start reading through everything. He'd basically just be looking around, watching whatever he can, reading up on these ancient texts that he just found, as Naruto would have a weird understanding for it. Naruto would decide that, you know, he's going to sneak this book and try out what it's saying. It's saying that it has something to do with magic. As Naruto would sneak the book in his, you know, in his hoodie, and the lady would just be like, book's garbage anyways. I was gonna throw it out. I might as well just let him take it, because if I do anything, Lord Third will, she would think about what he could do, and she'd say, yeah, just she would not say anything and just say bye Naruto with like a fake smile. As Naruto would walk out thinking that, yeah, he just did that. Yeah, he just stole a bug. Like, can't nobody touch him. As, you know, the lady would just be sitting there like, this kid. As Naruto would proceed to basically just go home. And for the next 3 years, he's 9 at this point. Yeah, let's just say 9. And for the next 3 years, meaning Naruto's 12, he would proceed to basically read this ancient text. The first year, Naruto would be understanding the abilities. And this version of Naruto, I forgot to say, is the reincarnation of Zankrau from Fairy Tail. You know, the user of the fire god slaying magic. As Naruto's flames would, instead of being like some sort of red or something like that, they would be black flames. Black godly flames. He'd be able to produce them and create various attacks like Fire God Slayer, roar, and he'd be able to use abilities such as that by the age of 12. The years that he was basically spending learning that abilities, he just pretended to be oblivious, never ever showing any of these abilities, seeing as he didn't really need to. And his whole vibe around him changed. He stopped being obnoxious, and that means Sakura never ended up disliking Naruto. So she never had no reason to hate him or anything, and Naruto just kind of went by the academy as like the quiet kid, I guess you could say. But deep down Naruto knew that someday he was going to reveal this power and just destroy everything. As Naruto would basically proceed to essentially just go through the village, go through the motions, and this is the day of their graduation. As they would be asked to do the shadow clone jutsu, Naruto, instead of creating a shadow clone, because he doesn't even have access to chakra, Naruto would proceed to essentially just Naruto would proceed to essentially just literally just create a clone made out of fire. Yes, a clone made out of fire. I know that ability isn't in the actual fire god slaying magic, but dude, it's magic, it's fire. You can do it. Like if Naruto people can make fire clones and explosive clones, like just give this man a pass, all right? But anyways, that being said though, Naruto would create that, and Iruka Sensei would be completely shocked as he'd say, Naruto, this is incredible. It'd be far more durable than any shadow clone ever. And Naruto would then sit back down in the class as he just, passes with, decent marks. As by the end of everything, Iruka would tell them all to basically just sit here and wait for their, headbands. As Naruto would be granted his, and Mizuki would basically walk up to Naruto as he basically tells him that there's another part to the exam. Naruto would look at him and then just proceed to basically say, oh yeah, there is, huh? As Mizuki would just say, yeah, there's you gotta steal the forbidden scroll. As Naruto would just say, yeah, that's right, I gotta steal the forbidden scroll. As Mizuki would be like, does this kid know, or like, why is he'd just be like, why does this kid know? And like Mizuki would basically just be like, whatever. He'd just basically brush it off, just be like, I don't know. He'd just be like, it's whatever. He might know, he might not, who cares? As obviously Naruto would definitely be aware of what Mizuki's trying to do, and Naruto is not no dummy. He definitely knows that Mizuki is up to no good whatsoever. So Naruto would then proceed to basically just do the plan, seeing as he wanted to know what it was like to see that scroll, and if he was to get caught, he would just basically show Mizuki, and in exchange, he'd basically just turn Mizuki in, seeing as he's most likely a traitor to the village. So that's what Naruto would do. He would go steal the scroll, and he would then basically see all the jutsus that are within it. He would read each and every single one of them except for the shadow clone jutsu, and after reading up on them, he'd realize that these abilities are incredible. There's one that literally allows them the ability to teleport, the flying Raijin, that is. And there's something like the shadow clone, the multi-shadow clone, and that's something that Naruto would never actually thought of. He never thought of creating multiple clones. He only thought of really creating a couple. So Naruto would try to create a dozen fire clones, and he would actually be able to. He would create a bunch of clones. He'd actually be able to create 100 fire clones. He has an immense reserve of magic energy, or of mana, I guess you would say. And he would then proceed to basically look at that little teleportation thing, and he would basically proceed to essentially think if there's any way that he could create something like that with his fire magic. As Naruto would spend the next couple of hours trying, but would ultimately fail. And this is when Mizuki would arrive at the forest saying, Naruto, hand me the scroll. As Naruto would basically say, yeah, absolutely not. And Mizuki would say, Nine Tails brat. Just, doing his usual stuff in the anime. Naruto would proceed to basically just point a finger at him and say, Mizuki, I never really liked you. As Mizuki would basically look at Naruto and say, the feeling's mutual, you nine-tailed fox. As Naruto would realize that that's why everybody hated him. He had the nine tails within him. As Naruto would then realize what it is that he has within him. And he would then basically just say that, it all makes so much sense now. That's why the villagers always hated me. As Naruto would proceed to basically walk up to Mizuki and basically thank him for that information, as he would then say that for that, he's going to make his end or demise a quick one. As Mizuki would say, you can try, but before he could even finish that sentence, Naruto would literally have burnt him to a crisp, as Mizuki would literally be nothing but ashes, and Lord Third would have actually been watching from the crystal ball, as Naruto would basically proceed to grab the scroll and return it back to its rightful location, after telling Hiruzen what had happened, but Hiruzen would just say that he already knew, he saw everything. And Naruto would say that, he didn't know that, but, well, I guess, yeah, he did what he had to do. As, Hiruzen would look towards Naruto, and he'd be waiting to see if Naruto's going to tell him that, oh, yeah, like, he did this, and that, but he would never have ended up saying anything, and he would just walk out of the room. As Hiruzen would just be like, well, I guess I can't say anything. He did stop that rogue ninja from doing anything. As this is when Naruto would proceed to basically walk out, and we would then see Hiruzen basically just being like, whatever. As Naruto would then the next day basically report to the Ninja Academy, and he would then be assigned his team with Kakashi. As 3 hours would go by, and Kakashi would finally arrive, leading to Naruto, who essentially basically gets teamed up with Sakura, Sasuke, and, of course, himself. As Kakashi would tell them all to go upstairs, and Naruto wouldn't actually even pull the prank that he did in the original, seeing as there was no reason. Naruto's not the goofball anymore. He has more of the Zancrow personality, where he's more serious and just gets to the point. Also a little crazy because the villagers low-key drove him that insane, low-key, like, they did a little something to him, and Naruto has something for them later on, but I'm not going to say anything until later. So, yeah. That being said, Naruto would basically proceed to I say basically way too much. Sorry about that, guys. I apologize for saying basically so much. But yeah, essentially Naruto would proceed to go upstairs, and everybody would tell them their goals. Sakura, well, Sasuke, my goal is to become an Avenger. It's not a dream, but a reality. And Naruto would say that his dream is to become the most powerful shinobi that has ever lived. And Kakashi would just kind of be like, okay, this group is interesting to say the least. As he'd basically use the shadow clone jutsu or whatever, or no, the substitution to get out of there. And he would then basically tell his squad to basically, yeah, I said that way too much. He'd tell his squad to essentially just meet him, somewhere, the very next day. As they would do just that. And, well, this is when they would basically proceed to essentially just meet him at the training grounds the next day. Naruto would have not ate, seeing as, he doesn't know about this. And they'd basically all just be starving. As Kakashi would tell them all that, they need to get ready for the exam. And he'd explain the rules of the little bell test to them. As each single one of them would basically be like, As Sasuke would walk up to Naruto and say, hey, dope, stay out of my way. As Naruto would look towards him and glare at him with those eyes of his. As Sasuke would basically step back a little bit, and he would then say, you want to go? As Naruto would then basically just close his eyes and lay down. As Kakashi would arrive, Naruto would then look at him and say, hey, what's the deal? You out here taking forever? You think I don't have places to be? And Kakashi would just say, calm down there, kid. As he would think, dang, Minato, your son is a feisty one. As, he'd basically explain the rules, and they would all get ready. As Kakashi would say, 3, 2, what? Before he could even say one, Naruto would have blitzed behind him. As Kakashi would basically barely be able to catch his fist, Naruto would throw a barrage of attacks at Kakashi. As Kakashi would jump back, and this one Naruto would say, Fire Dragon! I mean, no, not Dragon. Fire God Fire God Slay Dragon. Fire Dragon Rock. God Slayer? Okay, I got it. Give me a second, boys. Give me a second. Let me get back into it. As Kakashi would jump back, Naruto would proceed to basically say, Fire God! Roar! As he would shoot that attack straight at Kakashi, and it would obliterate the forest 1 mile from where they're at. As Kakashi would realize that if he wouldn't have substituted from that, he might have literally died. As Naruto would basically blitz over to him and say, Fire God, Talon! And he would slash at Kakashi, smashing him through 4 trees. As Kakashi would get up and decide that, yeah, he needs to take this kid seriously. As he would activate the Sharingan, Naruto would proceed to basically look towards him as he would say, oh no, you don't. As Kakashi would finally be able to register all of these movements. Naruto would then say, Fire God, slash, and he would slash the air with his arms, as you know, the air would literally just send Kakashi flying. And you know, Sharingan or not, the area basically covered a huge amount, so Kakashi was not getting out of that one. That being said though, Kakashi would then proceed to basically get up after that attack, as he would create a multitude of shadow clones, and he would then say, Water Dragon Jutsu, Water Dragon, Water Dragon style, or I forgot the name of the jutsu, but it's just Water Dragon Jutsu. Is that. So he would shoot it straight at Naruto. Naruto would proceed to basically move. Also, guys, sorry if there is any background noise. My siblings are quite annoying. Anyways, basically, Naruto would proceed to basically push Kakashi into a corner. As after Kakashi created the clones and made the water dragon from each direction, Kakashi's stamina would have been drained out, like all of it. And Kakashi would fall to one knee as he would say that must have been enough. As after that, Naruto would basically just be in a spear made of nothing but pure flames, as the black flames would consume the water itself. And Naruto would then walk out straight from the flames as he would say, that was interesting. As this is when, Kakashi would open his eye wide, and Sasuke, who was watching this, would say he could. As this is when Naruto would kick Kakashi in the chin, sending him crashing into a tree. As Kakashi would basically look at Naruto, Naruto would just walk up to him and snag both bells. As he would say, so, you're going to kick those two out of here because I took both bells. We don't need those useless pawns. As Kakashi would then look towards him and just eyes wide. He would then look at them and basically tell Sasuke and Sakura that they have to sit down by the pole. And this is when Naruto would proceed to basically just say, so I passed, right? As, Kakashi would look towards Naruto and say that, well, no, he didn't pass. He failed, actually. As Naruto would then ask why he failed. He did exactly what he was asked to do, as he would get angry, and Kakashi would then basically take a step back, as Kakashi does not want any of this smoke right now. Naruto would then look at him and say, you better pass me right now, or there's gonna be something that happens to you. As Kakashi would look towards Naruto and just say, you failed. Now don't make me repeat myself. As he would say, I was holding back in that battle, but I can truly go out if you want me to. As Naruto would look towards him and get all up in his face, as he would say, I'm passing that test whether you like it or not, and I'm going to be a genin. As Kakashi would say, no, you're not, Naruto. You have much more to learn. You're going back to the academy. And you, Sasuke and Sakura, you're going with him. As all three of them would basically be told that, and Sasuke would look in disbelief, as he would say, what? It was his fault. It was Naruto's fault. Why should we get held back because of his mistakes? Kakashi would then say, because you two didn't. And before he could finish that sentence, Naruto would plunge his fist into Naruto's chest, as he would say, before you can finish that sentence, I think it's best for you to speak your last words. As Kakashi would turn around and Naruto's fist would be plunged straight into Kakashi's chest. As Kakashi would fall onto both knees, he'd basically just lose his life right there. Naruto would crush his heart, and he would then proceed to basically say, Fire God, roar! As he would incinerate the body of Kakashi, turning him to nothing but ash. As Naruto would then proceed to look at Sasuke and Sakura, who are both just standing there in fear as Naruto's aura is just completely overwhelming. He would have the same powers as Zankrau in the literal anime, like he'd be at that level. As Sasuke would then just say, Fire style, Fireball Jutsu, and he'd shoot the attack straight at Naruto as Naruto just consumes the flames, and he would say, thanks, I really needed that after not eating breakfast today. As he would then blitz towards Sasuke and say, you're first, buddy. as in an instant Sasuke's life would just be over. He would end Sasuke as quickly as Sasuke spoke, and Sakura would just be, standing there in fear. She would say, "No, no, please spare me." As Naruto would walk up to her and just say, "I am." As he would immediately put his hand on her shoulder, and she would be incinerated instantly. As Naruto's eyes would just widen, as he would just start laughing insanely as Zancrow does, and he would proceed to basically just scream to the heavens as he would roar straight into the sky, grab Kakashi's headband and his tools and stuff like that, and just leave the village. He'd straight just leave the village right after that, as he'd just be thinking that he needs more power. He needs more strength to come back one day and destroy this putrid place that is the Hidden Leaf Village. As Naruto would leave, and after leaving, Naruto would wander for like about 2 weeks or so, or 1 month actually, just training in the forest far, far away. As at this point, Naruto would have actually ended up going to what is known as the Sand Village. As Naruto would have basically walked up in there, the Sand Village would have immediately pretty much recognized that Naruto is, well, Naruto. As they would instantly let him in, and Naruto would ask for their alliance. As they would, of course, instantly say, "Of course we're going to align with the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. This is going to give us more military strength." It's not like they're going to back down from that. As Naruto would smile and say, who's there, Jinchuriki? As they would summon Gaara, and Naruto would look at him with those eyes. As Gaara would say, you have those eyes. As Naruto would say, "You do as well." As Gaara would say, "Yeah." And Naruto would then basically look at him. As he would say, "Are you powerful?" As Gaara would have his sand basically grab Naruto's leg. As he'd be ready to crush it, Naruto would then basically just shake it off of himself. As Gaara would look with the wide eyes, like his eyes would just go wide open. And Naruto would then say, "So are we done playing around, or are we going to do what I need to do?" As Gaara would ask what his intentions are. And Naruto would then look towards Gaara, as he would then say, "Intentions? Well, my intentions are to destroy the Hidden Leaf Village for everything that they've done to me." As this version of Naruto would have, as I said, he would have gone insane. Those villagers were a little ruder to him when he wasn't in the library, and that definitely messed with this man's psyche. And getting power hungry, Naruto would have just slowly been dragged into insanity, slowly. As Naruto would spend, well, the next couple of weeks just training in the Sand Village, and the Leaf Village would have no word of what happened to their Jinchuriki, as well as Team 7. They would all be thinking that that team was, taken out or something like that. And they'd basically just chalk it up to the Naruto and his entire squad just dying. And they'd be, just trying to think of solutions, with Hiruzen thinking that it might have been Kakashi and he ran away. But my guy would say that he would never do something like that. He knows his rival would never stoop to something that low. As Hiruzen would say, he supposes he's right. And they would then basically all try to figure out what it was exactly that happened. As at this point, they would have pretty much given up on finding them, seeing as they tried to use tracker ninjas, but they were never able to find Naruto. Naruto would have basically just been in the Sand Village in hiding, just training to become more and more powerful. As let's just say that like a couple months go by, up to the point of the hidden, the Chunin exams, and Naruto and Gaara would have actually become friends at this point. Naruto would at this point actually have been friends with the Nine Tails Jinchuriki, seeing as Naruto in this version would have actually ended up giving into the hatred, and Naruto would actually have an understanding with the Nine Tails Fox, as they both would have had a mutual respect for each other, with the Nine Tails not really viewing Naruto as adequate quite yet, seeing as Naruto needs to be able to defeat him. But Naruto would have asked the Nine Tails for the favor of telling Shukaku to calm down. As the Nine Tails would do that, and Gaara would finally be able to get some peace of mind, and finally, in the first time in his life, sleep without having that beast terrorize him at night. As Naruto would basically just be training with the Nine-Tails Fox, and the chakra of the Nine-Tails Fox would actually help fuel him in his endeavors to destroy the Hidden Leaf Village. But if you guys want to see what happens to the Hidden Leaf Village in the next part for the Chunin exams, you guys are going to be having to smash that like button and let me know if you guys like this story so far. I decided to take the approach of, revenge Naruto instead of my usual one, seeing as, I want things to be a little different than they were in the original. And I don't want to go with the hero Naruto who saves the village, who betrayed him. Yeah, that's not happening. I want to have these people suffer. Like the stuff that they did to Naruto was just not it. And if you guys are down with that idea, make sure to smash that like button. But with that being said though, guys, as you guys already know, I love each and every single one of you. It has been your boy Zether, and I am out. Peace.